Okay, welcome to the MBS Plugin presentation. My name is Schmitz, and I'm doing this now for 19 years. So since 2006. We have over 7,700 functions, and I just added 200 new ones this year, probably a bit more already, and 300 last year, and they are all added because someone asked for a new feature, a new function. We have 600 example databases, so if you have a week of vacation, you can just play with them. There's a lot of scripts you can just copy for your solutions. The MBS plugin comes as one file, which makes it extremely easy to install. Just imagine if I didn't do that 19 years ago and made 100 different little plugins. It would be a mess to manage. Only the used parts are loaded in memory and active, so even if the plugin is maybe 50 megabytes, it's just maybe using 1 megabyte if loaded. Easy to install and update. Please check out our example file, install plugin update if needed, so you can learn how to install automatically from a container or load the plugins from our website automatically. We support various FileMaker versions from FileMaker 7 to the current 22 one. I'm already testing on future versions, and we recently added the 22 support in 15.2. Older versions may work or not. And since I changed things specifically for every version of FileMaker, you better use the newer version and not waste your time finding the bugs I already fixed. You can go down to FileMaker 8.5 on Mac if you need to, and we have downloads available for the older versions if you need one. Then you can use the plugin in FileMaker Pro on Mac and Windows, on FileMaker Server. And on server, you can use Perform Script on Server to use the plugin functions, for example, from FileMaker Go. You can use scheduled scripts. You can use the data API. You can use the plugin in Web Direct on the server. For macOS, Windows, and Linux, we support all the operation systems. If you want to use it on iOS, you need to use the FileMaker iOS SDK. So you can use the plugin within your branded FileMaker Go variant for iPhone, iPad, even macOS or Vision Pro. And if you have FileMaker Go, please use the Perform Script on Server. We have an example for that for our barcodes, where it either uses the local plugin to make the barcode or calls to the server to make the barcode on the server. And the plugin is not supported on FileMaker Cloud from Claris because they don't like code from everyone else. So no plugins there, but any other cloud hosting company will be happy to install the plugin. And you can use the plugin with the data migration developer tool or upgrade tool. So if you want to migrate a database which uses plugin functions and there are calculations needed to be done automatically for adding records, the plugin can be called by the tool. Then the plugin comes with one central MBS function, also one script step, and you just pass the function name as a first parameter, and it can come from a calculation or a field, so you can very dynamically decide what to call. You should check for the error flag, which is preserved by the plugin per script, or no, per thread. So on a server running several scripts at the same time, every script has its own error status. You can also just watch for the MBS prefix on the error messages to distinguish them from the normal result. And you can log errors. We have functions like clear error, which you call on the start of the script, and then on the end of the script you can check with head errors if we had some errors, and then get the error log, which is a JSON with all the errors and the details of the function codes. A lot of functions take parameters, for objects. So, for example, you can pass a JSON, get a number back, and pass this number to the next function to format this same JSON object, and then on the end, please don't forget to release the object from memory, so you don't fill all your memory with objects. The plugin nowadays gets a lot of maintenance. I need to put a lot of effort in to keep it running, like updating it for new FileMaker version. So every time FileMaker makes a new beta version, I will have to download it. I will have to update the plugin with a newer SDK, maybe see what class changed, and that's often more guesswork. So I have to test if things still work, like my syntax colorizer or my script search or some function where I look for a window. Or things sometimes change. So I prepare for the next version while the beta is running, so I can be ready at the time of release. I also added ARM versions for Linux for the plugin, and we are proud to have one plugin for all versions of Ubuntu. So whether you have 20, 22, 24, or soon 26, doesn't matter, it's one plugin for all. I also regularly spend a lot of time updating all these libraries like DynaPDF or OpenSSL, because they get updated too, and we want to enjoy the new features and of course the bug fixes. For example, OpenSSL got new ciphers for post-quantum encryption, and because newer websites only accept newer ciphers, so you need a current SSL library to connect to a website, otherwise you will get denied. So then we have plugin functions, like custom functions defined within the plugin. You can have a database with your custom functions, and you can register them in the start script if they are not yet registered. These functions appear just normally in your calculation dialog. You can use them in all your database files. So once registered at the start of the solution, you can use them wherever you like. On Pro, Server, and iOS SDK, you can have a variable number of parameters, and your implementation of the function can be either in FileMaker or in JavaScript code. So you can make functions with JavaScript, and you can decide whether you like to use the duct tape engine or the one from WebKit. So here's an example of a function. Yeah, it's just a concat function. It takes two values and it returns the combined values. That's what our example database looks like. And then we have a function joining a variable number of arguments. And this one uses our plugin functions to ask for how many parameters we have, and then ask for each parameter in a loop. Then we have one which uses concat with JavaScript. So we define a JavaScript function. There can be more code there for JavaScript, and you can even have persistent sessions, so you can store a value in your JavaScript context in one function and then use it in other functions. Very handy if you like to get more JavaScript into FileMaker. Then we have a lot of functions for iOS, like we have the list dialog for iOS, like we have this list dialog to pick values on Mac and Windows for a long time, and now we have it for iOS, but on iOS it's just one column, but you can have a second row in each line for a detail. Multiple selections are possible. You can customize the buttons on the bottom. You can get a search field on top. And that's a great utility if you need the user to pick something from a list, like here, countries or whatever, without switching the layout in FileMaker, without opening a card window. Like you can at any point just call a let statement and call the MBS functions to pick something. Very handy. And because every presentation must have artificial intelligence nowadays, I want to point out that we have an example for using ChatGPT with the plugin in FileMaker. We also have another example where we can use ChatGPT within the script workspace. And there's a function to summarize a script. So we pass the text of the script to ChatGPT and then get a summary back, which we can use as a developer to know what the function, what the script does, or put it as a comment. Yeah, put it in as a comment. Something you can build upon. Then a lot of people need barcodes. So we have functions to create and recognize barcodes with various libraries, a lot of options, 84 types of barcodes to create, and I think 14 types to recognize. We got a new function to detect and give you the result as JSON. This allows you to detect multiple barcodes on a page and get back all the details, like this is a barcode, it's of this type, it has this ECC level, it has this coordinates on the page. So you can better recognize a lot of PDF barcodes. Then we have JSON options, so you can get the vector drawing commands. This allows you to do things like this circle barcode, the QR code with circles. Very handy for a lot of things. Like you can decide whatever. I mean, some people do fancy drawings like a company logo in the middle and align it perfectly. And we can also do stack barcodes that some companies need, so they can store several values in the barcode and they scan them all together. Then if you are interested in using XML in FileMaker, we have an integration with the Saxon library. So you can have not just XLST1 as FileMaker does it, but you can have version 3. Which can do much more. And also you can have xQuery 3 for your queries within an XML document. We support XSD for the schema definition. And you can use XPath to get values from a document. And we support Saxon version 12.8 currently, or isn't it 12.9 nowadays? And soon they will have 13. The Saxon library gets updated frequently, and I have to adjust the plugin. And you can download the current libraries on our website. I have a bundle there, all the different DLLs and dilibs. So you have one download with the libraries. And optionally, you can also use the XML functions with JSON as input. So you can apply whatever XML transformation you need to do on some JSON content. The license is separate from the plugin. You can try before you buy anything and just play with the licenses. And for example, we can use Saxon to work with electronic invoices in Germany or France for Zugpferd or Facture X. We have this example which transforms the invoice directly into HTML to display, so you have a quick preview of the invoice. And we have the validation thing, where we can first validate the invoice against the schema. And then we have a second transformation which validates it against the business rules. So the schema will check for, is it valid XML? And then the business rules will say, well, is the Fed ID in the correct format, or is the required fields filled in with a value? So we can validate the invoices and make sure that we only accept invoices that pass the validation. Otherwise, maybe in 10 years when we get a tax audit, we may get in trouble. Then we have overlay windows, which allows you to have a custom window without a widget or frame. So you can show whatever you like on wherever on the screen you like. Oh, there's an important call. The pizza delivery is there. No? Okay, you can make a window on the screen. You can have transparency. You get script triggers if the mouse is moved in, if someone clicks on it, so you can decide what to do. You can make a button bar this way, for example. You can position it near FileMaker windows or controls, so you can say, click here with a red arrow next to the button, for example. It's great for splash screens or tutorials, and you can use it as a drag and drop target. So you can say drop files here to import on your little window. And you can use web view as content, so you can show HTML there and use JavaScript. So let's continue. We have a lot for PDF. DynaPDF is a great library to use to do PDFs with FileMaker. And we got a couple of examples for here electronic invoices again. You should check them out if you need to read or write such an invoice. Then we have complex rendering options currently for Windows. They may come soon for Mac when we have the time for that. The complex rendering allows you to run text from right to left in languages like Hebrew, and it helps with a couple of things, like if you want to write a character that isn't in the current font, we can substitute with a different font, and some other little things like, you know, if there's one character coming there and the next one, and they can be joined together as one character and displayed in the PDF, that's also done with complex rendering. Then we have render job, which allows you to render pages in the background. So your script doesn't need to wait. The plugin does it on a separate CPU core. And then when it's finished, you get a callback. And we have an example where it renders hundreds of pages within seconds in the background. And the user doesn't need to wait and can just start reading the first page while the other pages are rendered. Then we got content parser function, which allows you to inspect the content of a page. And you can do find and sorry. So we have the content parser. You can find and replace texts. You can extract or replace and delete images, which is also very handy if you need to modify it. And recently we got incremental updates. So you can load a PDF with a signature. Then you can add additional text like a second signature and then save the new PDF. And then we have something people waited for a long time, round edges for your card windows. For Mac, Windows, and now iOS too. So Claris didn't do that. I don't know why, but people asked for it, and the plugin just adds the round edges to the window. So you show the card window, you call the plugin function, it adds the round edges, and then you enjoy it. We also have this script trigger for when the user clicks outside the card, so you can close it then. Then curl. Curl is a fantastic library to up and download data with HTTP or FTP or send emails. We have a new email example for Gmail with open authentication, and of course Office 365 with open authentication. So you can log into your account and you can get a token and use this token to send the email. When you do an IMAP upload, for example, you want to put an email in the sent folder, you can include some flags to mark it as either new or seen or whatever, archived. And if you use secure transport in curl, this is going deprecated and removed for the next version, because that's an older SSL library from Apple which doesn't support TLS 1.3. It's a bit outdated. So, but we have a replacement. So JSON. Everyone loves JSON. You can use a plugin, insert, update, or delete records using JSON. Like this. You have some JSON from a web service or whatever, and you can just tell the plugin, make a new record or make several records. Then if you have JSON arrays, you may want to use a slice function, which can help you to split a part of the array into a new array. Or you can use JSON to CSV if you need to export some data as CSV and you have JSON for this. And we also have our JSON set variables or clear variables, which allow you to create local variables in your script for the values in the JSON. Then we have a couple of smaller things in the plugin, like I got the tidy library to clean up HTML and XML, which also can be used to convert HTML to JSON. So we parse the HTML and then you get a JSON, and then you can use our JSON query functions to find things in the HTML. If you do barcodes for Swiss payment, so if you write an invoice in Switzerland, you should include the QR code for the payment, for the banking app, and we have a function to filter the characters going into the QR code for the characters that are allowed, which helps a lot to avoid creating invalid barcodes. Then we have a vision function to rectify a document, Like if the user took a picture of a document on a table, we can find the document and then give you just the document as one picture.
It's the same function.
Yeah, like on the phone, yeah. So then we have our enhancement for the script workspace. There are over 40 enhancements. You can go through the list on the website, and we have a few new additions. We have clipboard conversion for Mac and Windows. So if you copy some script lines in FileMaker and you switch to your text editor, you can paste the XML directly. Then you can make modifications, copy it again, go back to FileMaker and paste the modified script lines. We had similar things before, but now it's even more convenient and can help you a lot. Like for doing some search and replace over a whole script. We have comment links in the script workspace, so you can have a comment which includes certain things like go to command, go to end, go to beginning, go to a website. You can now use search there to jump to whatever text you put behind the search, so you can jump within your script at any point to other points. It's fantastic. Then you have control cursor keys in the text editor, so you can move lines up and down. That's something FileMaker has in the script workspace, but not in the calculation editor, and we add that with a plugin. Then we added comments for tables, and this feature was so great that Clarence copied it. Yeah. And then we have keyboard shortcuts for the result type in a calculation field. So in the calculation field settings, when you open it, you can enter your calculation, and there's a little pop-up on the bottom where you choose the result type. And we added the shortcuts for this, so you can press Command T for text or Command, I don't know, forgot it. You can press Command N for number, you know. D for date, okay. So FileMaker has that in one dialog, but not in the other one. So the plugin just adds the missing shortcuts.
Can you disable them instead of adding them?
Of course I could.
Feature request.
Okay, whenever I add a feature, someone will complain and say, please make me switch it off. So maybe send me an email if you need something to be turned off. So then we have shortcut links for table occurrence in field picker dialogs. You may, if you go in a script and you have set field, or have 10 times set field, and you click on each time to pick the field from a different table occurrence, you have to go into the pop-up menu and find this table occurrence every time. Now, if you make a real-world solution with 100 table occurrences, this gets slow. So the plugin adds a little arrow there with a text of the last used table occurrence. You click on it, and it jumps you right to this one. And I added this for 3 dialogues so far. I think one of the recent versions added a 4th dialogue. So it's getting more handy. Next, we have automatic scrolling in the debugger. That's something people wished for a long time. I added it for Mac, of course, only. And so if you go down in the debugger and it doesn't stay in the last row, the plugin sees that you're scrolling down, so we scroll a few lines more so you can see what's the next command behind the current one. It's a little change, but, well,
Fundamental.
yeah, we need it. We also need auto-completion. So you can auto-complete things in the custom functions dialog, and the plugin adds auto-completion for table and field names, for FileMaker function names, for MBS functions with their parameters, for all the get functions, the operators, and you really enjoy it, even global variables, if the plugin saw them before. So you can just type, and the plugin will make suggestions. You can pick them, or you can continue to type to ignore them, whatever you prefer. And you can switch it off if you don't like it. Next is a feature for the data viewer with XML and JSON, we got a format button. So if you have a variable containing some XML or JSON, and you open this window to show the content, there's a format button, and you can see the formatted JSON or XML. And this is so popular that I got several requests to make it automatically formatted. So with next plugin version, we have a switch, so you can decide if it's off, on, or automatic. And you can decide whether you want to save the formatted by clicking OK, or keep the old one with clicking Cancel. So version 15.5 is coming soon, maybe next week. We got a few new functions. For example, what? So we got new functions. For example, fidgets got a function to write RFID tags. We had reading before and 20 other devices, but now the RFID reader can write. We also got Windows management interface, I think is it, to query things on your computer, like the list of serial ports, the list of hard disks, the list of motherboards, the list of CD drives, whatever. You can make a lot of hardware queries with WMI, and we got a function to return you the result as a JSON. So the table occurrence links for calculation dialog are also coming. And we have a flag to secure custom functions registered with a plugin. Because if you register a function, it could be a problem if someone unregistered it or registered the same function with the same ID with a different code. So we have to find a way to secure this so the plugin doesn't allow you to replace a function once registered. Then we have UUID functions for UDV7. That's a special kind of UUID which can be sorted to sort the records by time. So they are chronologically going up. And you can also query back which time was used for creating this UUID. Yeah, allows you to use UUID for your records and then later sort by the UUID. We got a function for Markdown to directly return you an HTML document from the Markdown text, and also style text, so you can directly show it in a field. And we also, on the way, got a function to convert HTML to style text with a plugin. It doesn't support all the text, but mostly, so we can use it for the Markdown processing. And we got a function for doing zip compression on text fragments, which is something you need in Switzerland for some medical QR codes. So people asked for it, and I just added it. So we are again enabling the plugin to remember column widths for your dialogues in FileMaker. That's a feature that I had introduced years ago. Then Claris added a similar feature, so I turned mine off. But then we noticed that Claris didn't do it for all the dialogues, so I turned it back on. Seems to work fine. Saxon version 12.9 is also coming. And for next version, we have more AI. We have foundation models. That's coming with iOS 26 and macOS 26. Allows you to run a local LLM from Apple on your device. For example, to generate text or to summarize text, build a little chatbot if you like. And you have a lot of options like tone editing, so you can decide whether it should be more professional or more crazy. You can also use it to translate text, and we have a nice example file for this. So if you want to try a local LLM on your Mac on macOS 26, please do so. It may be useful. And the example also does something for invoices, like when we do an OCR of an invoice. We can ask the LLM to get us things like please find the name of the company, the total, the number on the OCR text, which is also a great feature. Then at the conference, I added schema changes notifications. So that's something the plugin SDK offered, and we had a client asking for it to be implemented. So if you have FileMaker Server 21.1 or newer, you can ask the MBS plugin to watch for schema changes in FileMaker on the server. Then we collect them as a big JSON block. You get different things reported, like which account did something, which catalog was changed, like did someone change custom functions or fields or layouts. And then you can decide what to do. So you can have a scheduled script running every minute to check for changes and, for example, log the changes to a table. That's what my example does. But you could also send an email that someone changed the script, and then you as a developer would have to decide if that's good. And I think the main usage will be to run save as XML automatically on the changes, so you can put them in a version control with Git or something like this, so you can track who made which change over time. We have some resources. We got a website. We have some documentation. We have a blog. We have videos on the website. And you can, of course, register for a newsletter or get a trial key. If there's anyone without a license key yet, there's a conference offer with 20% discount on new licenses. And if you want to watch more videos about the plugin, you should check out FM Training TV, where we have over 70 live streams archived already. That's it. Any questions? Yeah.
Do you have any? Oh, sorry. Do you have any integration of? I see that you have a sort of a primitive, or maybe in the past, version of integration of Python calling from MBS.
Yeah, we have Python integration. Yeah, you can load a Python library with whatever models you installed with it, and then you can just evaluate an expression, or you can run a script within FileMaker. Yeah.
Okay. That was my question, sorry.
Yeah. So the key thing is that it runs within FileMaker, so you can build the script on the fly with a calculation.
Regarding converting Markdown to HTML, can you supply a style and highlighting for FileMaker code?
Good question. Well, you can put in your own CSS in front of it, of course, yeah. But otherwise, no, the Markdown conversion is a user enters something in Markdown and you convert it to HTML, so you can upload it on your blog also.
Yeah.
But there's no highlighting for the Markdown. That's maybe something we could do.
Yeah, I think so. Suggestion.
Maybe send an email so we don't forget. And
Yeah,
then maybe
okay.
for next year's version, I mean.
I have a question myself, maybe a stupid one, but the newest version of the MBS plugin, 15.2, is compatible back to what version of FileMaker?
If you have the 30-bit Windows version for Windows 7, you could still run FileMaker 7 with that. So the current Mac version requires macOS 10.13 to
Okay.
launch it all.
Okay, so almost all versions, you mean?
Yeah.
No, the reason I'm asking is because we typically need to upgrade, if we upgrade from 18 or 19 or 20 to 22, we need also to purchase a new plugin version.
Usually, yes.
And it would be easier for deployment to first install all the dependencies like the plugins and
Yeah.
then do the upgrade.
So you can use the latest plugin usually with all your different FileMaker versions in your FileMaker Zoo.
Got it.
Can I again? I'm pretty sure that the answer is on the website, but do you have any example of using AI, because now it's the hype of AI in MBS, it's on the website.
Yeah, we have the ChatGPT integrations. We have for chatbot or something like in FileMaker, we have the ChatGPT integration with the script workspace if you want to do that. And we have foundation models now.
And even the example with the importing a script inside the script workspace.
There's an example about installing context menu commands. And one of the commands you can install is to have the context menu command copy the script, send it to ChatGPT for getting.
Whatever.
Yeah, you can put whatever text you like into the instructions. Like there was someone who wrote a very detailed command for ChatGPT, like, can you summarize the script in maybe 3 lines? Can you list the variables used or the global variables? Can you list which table occurrences are used? So you have an overview about what the script does.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.